Hey guys, Pete with Crunch Time Coaching, and if you struggle with serve confidence, this is the video for you because I've got 3 tips that you're gonna be able to use today to go out and play better in your service games. And plus, we're gonna talk a little bit more in depth about what may exactly be going on, your specific reason why you're struggling with your serve confidence, and how you can go about fixing it. Let's get into today's lesson. Now, the first thing is actually we wanna focus on what we're doing before we even hit the ball. And that's our rituals. The pros do it all the time, and I see that a lot of recreational players don't do this properly even if they have a ritual. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to step up to the line and actually look at your target. Many people don't do this. Really zone in on where you're going to hit this ball. And as you're doing this, I want you to focus and imagine in your mind where the ball is going to go, and also kind of have some sensory association with it. Try and feel what it's going to feel like, right? Imagine the ball grabbing the strings, for instance, if you're going to hit the ball off the court with a slice, and then picture that ball curving in your mind going off. So that's all going on in my mind as I'm getting ready to hit this serve. So I'm preparing my mind for success along with looking at the target. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a ball bounce. I suggest that you do more than 2. I think that 2 is too little, and 10 or 11 like Novak Djokovic is too much, where you might actually ice yourself. So I suggest 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I like, between 2 and 4. And then we go in, and notice the next thing I'm doing is I'm looking back at the target. Lots of recreational players, I notice, they'll do the bounce and then they go right to here with their head and they're looking because they're trying to focus on that toss. I want you to come here again. 1, 2, 3, 4. A last look at the target, go into that serve and hit it. So there's your ritual. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to be able to aim for a very small target. So when you're going, you are aiming, I like this dice. Now obviously we can't have a dice when we're playing a match, but you want to imagine that it's over there. So I'm going to place it over there and hit some serves, and then we'll talk about it. Now the cool thing is you saw that I didn't actually hit the dice, but I was very close. In fact, one went way off the court further than I expected, and that reminds me of something that Borg talked about when he played. He said, I used to aim for the service line, and if it went deeper than the service line, well, that was just an extra bonus. And if I hit the ball off the court, I wasn't always meaning to do that. Not that he didn't have tremendous skill, but sometimes the shot ends up a little better than you're expecting if you have a good target. Or if you have no target, what if you miss that target? You're missing the box, and now you're having a lot of trouble. The last one that people struggle with on confidence is to have a free swing. Now, I've got to be honest, this may also be some technical things you're doing as far as grips or swing technique that's preventing a free swing. But I like to think of it as natural deceleration, where a lot of recreational players will come up here and they will stop themselves and push. And often when I just do this demo, I miss the serve long because I'm stopping my gears in my body, where you want to allow it to naturally decelerate. So look how that comes here. And when I do that as well, guys, I'm getting more action on the ball naturally too. So really let that thing flow. Now let's talk about, in general, why your confidence, why you may be struggling specifically with confidence on your serve, because this is very, very important. And to me, I find that most people struggle with, when they really identify, when like, my serve, I struggle with confidence on it. Let's think about that. Is it your first or your second serve that you struggle with the confidence on? Because to me, they're 2 different serves. So of course, the technique can be very similar to both of them, but 2 different serves. And first of all, we've just got a different mindset when we're going up for that first serve. If you're doing anything, you got 2 chances. The first chance, you kind of feel like, hey, it's almost free, and therefore I can let it go a little bit. So even if you don't have the best technique, you can stand up there with the wrong grip, and if you got good hand-eye coordination, you might be able to rip that thing and get some free points. And plus, you're not as nervous, so you're allowing yourself to be a little more free with it. Now, when you miss that serve and all of a sudden you've got a second serve, you've got one more chance, this is where I think people struggle with belief, and they may start thinking about double faulting, or they may struggle to swing freely because they're like, I just want to get that ball in the box. And as a result, that's when they start going to like powder puff serves and things like that. And one thing that's very interesting is if you look at the Pro Tour, when the pros are serving, they're going to win 60 to 80%. Very common. It's very common. If they're not doing this, then they're really struggling. But in general, even if they're losing the match, they're still winning 60 to 80% of their first serve points. I'm even talking about people playing Roger Federer and losing to him on that day. The key stat that really moves the dial as far as wins and losses is how are you defending your second serve point? And so we will find that if these pros who have perfect technique are able to hold about 50% or a little more of their second serve points, then they're usually going to win that match, because now they got 68% first serves and they're winning 50% or more on the second serves. It becomes almost impossible to break those people. Another thing is if they're serving 60% of their first serve in or more, they're having a great day. So just making 60% or more of that first serve, they're having a great serving day. And if that serving percent goes down, well, then they have to worry about it a little bit. Now, on the second serve, they are pretty much usually serving in a 2 out of 3 set match over 99% when you think about it, because typically they may serve a whole match with 0 double faults or just 1 to 3. That's pretty much the average. So they're literally making 99% of their second serves, but only winning 50%. And often you'll see it down to 45% or less, and that's when they're usually going to lose the match. So for you, you might be going, well, gosh, you know, if I were to just go up there and swing free like the pros, there's no way I could even come close to 99 or 100%. I'd probably be more like 80 or 70 or 60%. So to really address these problems, you have to systematically look at fixing what you're doing wrong on the second serve. And I think it really comes down to looking at your number one confidence killer. I surveyed 12,000 people on my list, and the things I kept hearing were, I think about the double fault, I struggle to swing freely, I can hit the serve in, but it's a powder puff and it gets crushed. So what I want you to do, our first step together will be to identify that number one confidence killer. I've got a free training on it. You can click up here if you're on your smartphone, or if you're on PC, you can click here and you can start going through that. And then we can fix that, and then we can get into more detail on the second serve if you want. I created a full course for you that systematically will take you step by step, because it's very hard to just piecemeal tips together and develop a serve. A serve is a process, and through teaching and playing for 35 plus years now, I had to go through the process myself. I've went through the learning curve of it, and now I know how to teach people step by step on how to do that. So if you're interested in that, you can do that as well. But at least take me up on identifying your number one confidence killer, getting that fixed so you can hit the court today and play a little more at ease in your match. So hopefully you like that. Like, comment, and subscribe if you have any questions. But please take me up on that free train. This is Pete from Crunch Time Coaches signing off, wishing you the best on the tennis court.